Hello and welcome to Mumbai Uprising. I am Tejas Mehta and the topic of our debate today is that skyline behind me, the Mumbai skyline, which is all set to grow taller and taller if a proposal to increase space for homes is really accepted. Now, that would really interest you because if the government is to be believed, they are saying that prices, real estate prices will drop and then you can buy your dream home. Are you convinced? Well, many in the builder lobby are certainly elated, but many others are asking the key question, where is the infrastructure to support all of this? We'll debate all of this, but first let's really understand what the key issues really are.
Mumbai skyline going the Manhattan way. The financial capital's new blueprint till 2034 grants more space for housing. The civic body believes more homes will ensure real estate prices will fall. The plan to increase floor space index or FSI, that's the ratio of how much can be constructed on a given plot of land. Earlier, on say a plot of 1000 square meters, only 1000 square meters could be constructed. Now that goes up anywhere between 3500 to 8000 square meters. Practically that means a 5-story building can be rebuilt with 20 more floors. A land reform India Inc. has welcomed, but urban developers insist this is a disaster as the city's infrastructure is already overburdened. As of now, this is only a proposal subject to public debate.
Well, let's start the debate. We have joining us here in our Mumbai studio itself. We have PK Das, urban planner. We also have from the BJP, Amit Satam, a corporator, who will be playing a very key role to ensure that this is really passed. And we also have Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson for the Congress party. Let me start with you, Mr. Satam. Why did you really need to push this at this hour? Because many are saying Mumbai does not have the infrastructure. Are you convinced this is a good idea?
See, I think that this is definitely a good idea, but then what I think it's a good idea comes with, definitely it comes with certain riders. This is only a draft plan which has been proposed for the city of Mumbai. Mumbai being an international city, if you compare it with other coastal cities in the world like New York, Singapore and Hong Kong, and if you compare the kind of FSI that is allowed in those cities and the kind of FSI that is allowed in Mumbai, Mumbai is abysmally low as compared to all these cities in the world. So I think if Mumbai has to become a modern city in the true sense, it has to grow horizontally and it has to grow vertically also. By growing horizontally, I mean that the transportation, the public transportation networks in the city have to be strengthened, more public transportation routes have to be developed, and also more space has to be created. Now, how will this space be created? You cannot increase the square feet area of the city anymore because it's already crowded. So we have to grow vertically, which will actually give space more for residences and also for commercial establishments. And so I welcome this particular proposal that has been put forth, but definitely with riders, and this is not something which is going to be implemented tomorrow. It's going to take time, another 2 years time for the DP to be finalized. Right. It will take another 3 to 4 years for all these plans to be in place actually. So this 5 years window we can get to develop the infrastructure which is required for this kind of an increased FSI.
Okay, Mr. Das, come in here because here's the point when he says that Mumbai has one of the lowest FSI space for homes, and in every island city, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, they are all the same topography as Mumbai, and they all have grown taller. Not Paris, not London, they have grown flat because they have more space. So what is wrong if Mumbai does that?
No, look, we have to understand increase in FSI is not just about high rise. Increase in FSI also leads to higher densities, and it has an impact on the quality of life and environment. I think these are the two checks we need to review. On both counts, I'm sorry, our experiences in India and in Mumbai in particular has been abysmal.
But are you saying we can't build the infrastructure in Delhi when we make the metro there?
Look, world over, the examples that we're talking about, governments builds the infrastructure first and then lets to decide what would the building profile or the built form be. Here we're just announcing an FSI without any preparedness for infrastructure growth.
Okay, let me just get in Pujit Agarwal, the MD of Orbit Corporation Limited, a builder, and of course many Pujit from your industry are absolutely elated. You are somewhere halfway there, but the point Mr. Das is making, urban planner here, is that first infrastructure and then you can increase FSI. Do you agree with that?
Over here, which is that today everybody is talking about the FSI increase. I don't see that the FSI is increased on at least 50% of the plots, because when you talk about 2.5 FSI to 3.5 FSI, in all the plots today which are there, which are developable, whether it's the suburbs or whether it is the city, you have a base FSI of 1, add TDR 1 to that, so that's 2 FSI base. On that you get 35% fungible. That's 2.7 FSI, and then lift, lobby, staircases are free of FSI. So effective built-up area is 3 to 3.5 FSI anyways. So where is the FSI which is increased on 50% of the plots? Yes, certainly on the other 50% one has to look at the fine print as to how it can be developed. So really speaking, I think we are shouting down the wrong roof that the FSI is increased and there is elation. It's short-lived, I would say, till the time everybody really reads what this is all about.
Yeah, but let's, Tejas is very important what he's saying. Let's look at two things very important that our Prime Minister has been announcing and the state government too has confirmed, that we have to produce more housing stock in the affordable category for the economically weaker sections and the poor. How is this going to contribute to that? Yeah. Zero. There's no assessment of that.
That's my question.
What happens to the open spaces and the quality of environment?
Right.
Zero.
Yeah, Priyanka, come in there, because that's a key question. What happens to the poor in Mumbai? Many other urban planners say that they also enjoy ultimately more space. But as PK Das is saying, that's not really true. This is only for the rich.
No, I quite agree with what Mr. Das is saying as far as the infrastructure is concerned, as far as making affordable housing is concerned. It all looks good, sounds good when you talk about it. When you talk about Mumbai skyline will be comparable to New York skyline or Hong Kong skyline. But we also need to understand this kind of cut-paste planning that we've been having is just not going to be making any difference, A, for the residents, buyers, or for people who are looking for affordable housing. Secondly, I do not know if we have been following, fire that recently we had a fire in Andheri, and there was a high-rise building, and we did not even have basic infrastructure to stop that fire. Our infrastructure is seriously lacking. It has been seriously lacking. And again, I would go back to Mr. Das's point about density. Even density increases. Mumbai can have high-rises, but Mumbai also needs an infrastructure which matches these high-rises. Everything sounds good on paper, but BMC has fallen short of providing solutions, bigger solutions to problems that exist for every Mumbaiker even today. You give builders licenses, then you do not have roads to manage these the traffic that comes into place.
We're coming back to the same issue of infrastructure. Infrastructure, that's the key point. Mr. Satam, come in here, because as Priyanka points out, we are seeing so many fires. In Mantralaya itself we saw a fire and we couldn't douse it for so many hours. Where do we have the money to provide such infrastructure and the planning? Will you be charging builders to pay for all of this?
See, what I would like to say about this is every change is inevitable, and any change begins with an idea. This is an idea which has come forward. We need to brainstorm on this idea. We need to get all the urban planners together on one table and probably debate on this idea and then take it forward from here. We just cannot have a negative outlook towards it by saying that we are going to have 8 FSI in the city. Now there is a big furor about saying that there is 8 FSI in the city. But how many people are aware of the fact that only 0.5% of the area in the city has been proposed 8 FSI? It's only 0.5%.
Amit, I would like to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Years to develop the infrastructure in the city.
Amit, you are repeating that point, but look at just 2 points.
Yes,
what about affordability? What about affordability and sustainability? These are two most critical aspects in terms of human development interest is concerned. Now, which population, which constitutes more than 70% of the city's people, who cannot afford the mainstream market housing can afford these high-rise structures, and how would you environmentally sustain them? These are the two most important checkpoints, and these are contradictory ideas. You can't build on contradictory ideas and debate over for the next 5 years.
Priyanka, you would agree on this particular point. As far as environment is concerned, the RA colony, one of the biggest lungs in Mumbai, is going to be touched now for the first time in so many years. Now, many would say there is a price to pay. Is this price really too high?
No, absolutely. It is a price too high to pay for any Mumbaiker living in Mumbai. We know our green spaces are anyway few and far between. And we've seen what happens to, BMC allotted grounds. They're taken over. Builders have, I hate to say it, but builders have been taking on a lot of spaces which belong to the public. The public spaces have been compromised. I think BMC needs to come out with a comprehensive plan which addresses this. There's another small thing I would like to add here.
I don't have time. One quick question, and that is your Chief Minister, former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan, had accused the builder lobby of the nexus. Do you believe the nexus now is putting pressure to increase FSI? Are you saying that?
No, I'm not accusing the builders of anything. I'm just saying that any decision that is taken should not be a rushed decision, and also should keep in mind what the urban planners are saying, how it affects the environment, how it affects the citizens of Mumbai. Mumbai is already suffering enough because of the density of population that we have here, with zero infrastructure in place really. So we need to keep all this in mind before we talk about a New York skyline, a Hong Kong skyline, etc. And even with FSI, I would say whatever benefits or whatever the builder ends up paying will end up, being paid by a buyer. So there's nothing about affordability also here, which sounds like makes it a positive proposition for the people of Mumbai, really.
But let me just get Pujit here. Pujit, are builders willing to pay for infrastructure? That's the key point. One suggestion is the revenue which comes out of increased FSI goes into infrastructure, because the government doesn't have so much money. Are you willing to pay?
Tejas, as far as infrastructure is concerned, I think it's clear with everybody that infrastructure has to be in place. Now, whether it is the urban planners, whether it is the activists, or whether it's developers, everybody knows that infrastructure has to be in place. The government has to play the most important part in creating the infrastructure and making sure they maintain it. Second of all, the developers are very happy to pay for this infrastructure by the cost regime or the cost structure that they have proposed in the new DP plan. That also the developers are ready to do. But what the developers are asking for is a quick redressal for approval of their plans. Today it takes 3 years. Again we are getting into a pipe dream of revised DP regulations, and we will get into a situation where the plans will not be passed for the next year and a half till the time this DP is made applicable. So the developers are undergoing a lot of stress. They've gone through for the last 4 years. It's only in the last 6 months we've seen some relief. So yes, the developers are ready to pay for the infrastructure, but they want quicker approvals.
Okay, we'll just take a short break at this point of time. On the other side, we'll discuss if real estate prices in Mumbai will ever really fall. Welcome back to Mumbai Uprising. We're discussing Mumbai's new skyline, which could happen in the next few years. Joining us also is Ashutosh Limai, who heads the Real Estate Intelligence Service in JLL India. Ashutosh, do you think this was a much needed reform? Because India Inc. is really applauding this, and the big question really is, second question is that, will prices ever drop?
I think the answer to the first question is yes. It was a badly needed reform, because it now allows the market to decide how much we can build. Right now the question was, we want to build more, but we can't because the norms don't allow us. That excuse will not be applicable anymore. The second question is whether the prices will fall or not. I think a lot will depend on the first few years of its execution. If in over-enthusiasm there are lots of developers taking this route, probably the prices will fall. But if there is more apprehension and worry of people experimenting and not coming out with too many projects, prices will rise. But at the end of the day, I think on the long-term basis, it will definitely help market to get rationalized.
Mr. Das, coming here. Last comment, 30 seconds. Are you being overcautious?
Look at the present situation. You have over 57,000 apartments unsold. You have over 40% commercial premises unsold. What is the reason? So just increasing volumes of construction does not solve the city's problem. The problem is the supply is in a different segment than where there is demand. There is no supply in the affordable housing sections or affordable offices and workplaces segments. And this is not going to contribute to that. That's clear.
Pujit, closing comments. You can't sell what the stocks you have. What will you sell when you have much more? Closing comments.
No, with all due respects to my senior Das Saab, I'd like to mention that when 40% of stock is mentioned as unsold, what base are we talking about? So really speaking, we've got to see the entire office space base, and on that, if you'll see, it's a minuscule percentage, which is the empty office space or the empty residential space which is there. And that too, I really question those numbers which are put out or dished out to us. We've tried to find answers to it, but we've not found. But let's assume for a second that yes, these numbers are somewhat true. 56,000 houses for 1.3 crore people staying in Mumbai city. That's really not something that we cannot fathom, and that too is in MMR region. So my point over here being that we've got to create a larger number of houses so that
would you regret?
Mr. Agarwal,
Priyanka, do you regret the
Mr.
Congress
Agarwal,
is not
it's
do
only
this? Priyanka, do you regret?
No. Firstly, yes, we could have made a lot more affordable housing, but considering the number of migrants that we get almost on a daily basis, it's a huge challenge for Mumbai to address this issue. And I think, Mr. Agarwal, the larger point was about affordable housing. We need to concentrate on that area for us to be able to afford, bigger houses, better homes. Mumbai faces affordable housing issues, not the high rises.
Mr. Satam, last closing points. I need to end the show.
No, but coming to the point over here, no.
Well, I would just like to make a simple appeal through the show that let's together come on one table, debate this, and then move forward and not oppose this particular policy just for the sake of opposing. Because we have to take one point into consideration. There is no city in this world, no international city that imposes such low values in central business districts of FSI. There is no city which has the same values for residential and commercial. There is no city which imposes uniform values over large areas irrespective of difference of accessibility by transit. So we need to take Mumbai to the next level, and I appeal to all of you to come on one table and take Mumbai forward.
Public hearing, debates, and of course there will be omissions and commissions, and then of course it's going to take at least 6 months to a year, but we'll have to wait for that. We don't have time on the show anymore. Goodbye and thanks for watching. That's the key.